Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done. I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want. Yeah, rises like the sun. Yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won. Yeah, always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path. If you want it bad, I'm gonna show you where it's at. Yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one.
Good morning. Hope you guys are well. Happy Saturday. Bro, it's been super nice here in Pittsburgh, and we're getting a taste of the spring and the summer. This is a weird city because the climate here is like, we basically have winter, and then we have a very brief period of spring, which is like, you know, it's usually late March through about April 15th or so. And then we just have summer. Then it's like 90 degrees, 85, 90 degrees every day. So we're in that weird period right now where it's, oh God, I'm still fucking reverb. Sorry, where it's springy, and soon it's going to be super hot. But the thing about it is, like, you realize how much you miss. Just want to make sure everything's right here. Yeah, everything should be good. When, you know, in the winter, you can't go outside much. I mean, I did my best to date and to go to dinner. You know, I ran like maybe 5 times this winter out. You know, I had to run painstakingly on the fucking treadmill on the other days, some of the other days. But, you know, I mean, just like simple shit. You can't walk. Like, what's the point of walking? You're not going to go walk and look at the river. It's 26 degrees. Yeah, I'm going to go walk and look at the river. I was just going to suit up. You know, it just doesn't make sense, right? So I'm happy to do those things now. My Facebook page covers all like the adventurous shit that I do. It's just Ryan Michael Ballow. You can find me on Facebook. And I just kind of cover it all because I'm fucking excited about this season. I'm so excited. I'm so pumped. Okay, so as we filter some folks in here, let's get to a couple topics that I want to discuss. Number one, 20% DHT gel. Yeah, so like I've run experiments where I've run the DHT gel, a milliliter twice a day. So that's a lot of DHT on my forearms. I'm gonna have to start shaving my forearms because like some of it gets a little mucked up in my forearm hair. And I feel it onsetting in like 15 minutes. Yeah. Like I'll do it before I do it like as a pre-workout before the gym. And then as I'm driving to the gym, I'm like, holy fuck, it's hitting. I get there. I'm like insanely confident. I feel so fucking strong. I feel interestingly, like it makes me feel stronger. And DHT does have an anabolic effect, although short-lived. So I wonder if it's all the like fussing with neurotransmitters and optimizing them for an acute period, which is making me like feel like I can lift more weights, or it's just high potency androgen receptor binding. Whatever it is, the DHT gel makes me feel like a fucking animal before I go to the gym. You know, if anything, if folks have sexual function, that's fine, and are trying to have a great pre-workout, just use DHT gel. It'll beat any pre-workout you'll ever take, you know, like any powdered pre-workout with all the, you know, the usual suspects in it. You take some DHT gel before the gym and you're going to be a fucking beast. So there's that. And then I've run days where I just didn't take it. Didn't take it. And to be honest with you, like, it seems as if I've got to do other things to reach somewhat close to that high potency, high energy state, like more sodium, you know, or an extra B vitamin, maybe a nootropic, you know what I mean? That's really kind of what it seems like. Nothing can really touch the effect of DHT itself, regardless of how high your DHT is. This is another thing. If your bloods on DHT look fine, there's this notion, especially if you need sexual dysfunction resolution, of therapy, right? Androgen therapy, DHT therapy. Testosterone, or TRT, is testosterone replacement therapy. You're therapeutically optimizing systems that have been deprived of androgens, testosterone and DHT specifically for a long time, for however long. And so, you know, if you look at the studies on testosterone, it's like over time, there's one of them where they follow people for 12 years. And at the 12th year, there were benefits that weren't evident at year 10. So, you know, like kind of something to what Dave Lee says about how taking androgens over time androgenizes you, and the effects continue to get better as you go along. So if your DHT numbers look fine, you're almost definitely going to get additional benefits from taking DHT. So the 20% DHT gel makes me feel like I have fucking superhuman confidence. It's crazy. There's a big difference with it versus without it. And that's what I've been experiencing lately. I'll probably take it later on today, just, you know, because I'm going to run and go to the gym and whatever. Let's quickly talk about the cycle that I'm on. It's basically sports TRT. I don't consider it a cycle, especially because higher doses of testosterone don't register in me the way that they would someone else. For me, I need to take about 500 to really get a significant anabolic effect. I'm cutting right now, so it's hard for me to even see, you know, like maybe a little catabolic at certain phases. To be honest with you, though, 5 weeks at 300 milligrams a week, I'm not really seeing a big difference above 3 pumps of cream a day. So I don't know if I'll continue it. I mean, there's no use in wasting the testosterone. I might just go back to TRT, try to wait that out. Maybe I need a break from higher doses and then bring in higher doses and we'll bring the anabolism. Or I probably just need to go on a 0.5 gram a test. Still have some Anavar, so maybe we'll fuck with that. I just don't know. But for now, we're sticking with it. Let's talk about TRT protocol patients. So I've done videos about this, and this is really important. And I don't think that people give protocols enough time for their androgen receptors, for their body, specifically estradiol, estrogen receptors, to perhaps downregulate a little bit so that that estrogen effect isn't so fucking powerful. And among other unknowns, where people think, and this has been my experience in coaching, people think that they can hyper manipulate their protocol as if on a day-to-day basis, you're going to get like some change that's acute and that's just how it goes, without factoring in the sort of longer term dynamic of especially long esters, even short esters take some time for the brain and androgen receptors and genetic expression and probably a bunch of unknowns to change. And so, I mean, I've seen it a lot where, you know, we'll have progress, like especially with the sexual dysfunction guys, on a protocol, and the progress will continue in somewhat of a linear fashion to get better, like a graph going like this. But, some of those guys, because of their situation, they've taken so many supplements. They're they want a micromanagement, and they're hyper executors of changes and whatever. And so they want to change it, and it usually fucks things up. But like I notice over a 5 to 6 week continuum, then things will progressively get better. Things continue to get better. So on TRT, that applies for sure. Every time I change a protocol, like when I went to 300 just now, libido erections were a little fucking wacky for 3 weeks or so. They'd be great one day, and then the next day I just didn't care about sex, right? And so, but now they've pretty much stabilized, and they're like, good. It's been 5 weeks, so of course. You got to give protocols time. Unknown how much time each body has to give a protocol, but it might be 8 weeks. If you're running a long ester, it's gonna take that long. Sure, you're gonna notice differences at week 2, but I don't think that you can say this is the final outcome of this protocol. Yeah, on a short acting ester like cream or prop, still a month. I mean, you probably still want to give that a month before you fucking change anything, because you think you know what's happening after 2 weeks or whatever, and you don't. You absolutely don't. All right, let's get to questions, boys. Happy Saturday, Mr. Zach. Thoughts on Sustanon? I think Sustanon's cool. I had one client back in the day use it. We got it to work. I mean, the basis of this is you have this. Some people do this. You're going to find this on the forums, and people have success with it, right? God, I cannot stop clearing my throat. You have a basis of testosterone that is good, right? It's providing anabolism. A lot of these people, it's just providing mainly anabolism and not really doing a whole lot for the sexual system. But then they dose 40 milligrams of prop on top of that, like 3 times a week or twice a week or whatever it ends up being. Then the libido goes crazy. I had one guy just comment recently, like, I do that, and it's a base of, I think, testosterone enanthate. And then the guy runs a milliliter of prop, which is 100 milligrams. And then it's like sexy time, for a little bit there. And that makes sense. I've done that before, where I was running 3 pumps of cream, and then one night I injected 70 milligrams of prop, and I had like a fucking nonstop boner for, until it was like 2 days or something. I just had an erection that just would fucking last forever. So just something to think of, boys. But Sustanon, I think, is fine. Any ester is fine, but you have to learn how to make it work for you. Again, with long-acting stuff, you really don't want to be injecting daily because you can't get enough. You can't get enough. At the very least, with long-acting esters, do every other day and do like 60 to 80 milligrams every other day. So at least you're getting 60 to 80 milligrams at a time. 60 milligrams every other day of test enanthate is actually a good protocol. I have people on that and it works, right? But 30 milligrams a day is not. They lose libido on that. So find the ester works for you and dial it in. Farmer Rick with the big super chat. Thank you, brother. Morning. On cream for 3 weeks now, 4 clicks in the morning, 2 at night. That's a lot of cream. I don't feel any effects till about 6 to 7 hours later, and nothing like everyone says. Am I an outlier, or does this takes time? If you're on 3 weeks now, you probably want to give it till about week 5 to make a decision on what to do. But generally speaking, no, this is not how it's supposed to go. Probably your dose is too high, is what I would suggest on this case. I don't, it's very. I tried 6 pumps of cream, and all it did was shut my testicles down further, and it seemed to mess with the balance of DHT to estradiol. Skewed fucking disproportionately in favor of the former. So I don't think that's a good protocol. Yeah, I think you ought to run 3 in the morning and see how that goes. Then 2 in the morning, 1 in the evening, see how that goes. And then 2 in the morning, 1 in the evening, and see how that goes. And, give them each 4 or 5 weeks to determine. But 4 clicks in the morning and 2 at night is probably going to, it's going to shut you down faster. If you're not dosing HCG, well, that's a fucking problem. That's a fucking problem. Though I don't really love Ryan Russo, he did do a pretty important video recently where he talked about HMG and HCG, or FSH and HCG, and you'll lose the brain penis connection if you continue to stay completely shut down and don't dose gonadotropins. That's kind of what they're for, in addition to keeping the testicles plump and all that stuff. So I think you should execute 3 pumps a day, see how that feels. 2 in the morning, 1 in the evening, see how that feels. 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, see how that feels. Also, what is the concentration? Is it 100 milligrams per milliliter, 150, or is it 200 per mil? those things matter. PBB, hey Ryan, how to low SHBG? How to lower it? Lower SHBG? I would say just take more tests, or take 12.5 to 25 milligrams of Proviron a day, and your SHBG is almost definitely going to lower for sure. Ferric, the PFS guy in the voice message is not using tests. You always say that it doesn't work out without a test base. No, I don't always say that. I say that in context. You have to listen to the context of what I'm saying. Yeah, some people, they're going to require that. Again, I did an entire podcast with Dave Lee where we talked about Dave's use of Proviron, for 2 years or so before getting on testosterone, and then using test cream. It was basically like the same positive effect of Proviron, like just using testosterone cream. So you have to listen to the context there. When you have people that use specifically Proviron without test, unlike Dave Lee, who just got away with it, and his body needed that androgenic input without an estrogenic input and a little bit of aromatase inhibition and some androgen receptor optimization. Those guys end up with dick problems because their estrogen ends up being too low. So you certainly have to monitor that. And in this case, we're monitoring that, right? It's just the beginning of the use of DHT gel. So we really have to see. We're going to run a series of bloods. We're going to do all that shit. I mean, there is, in fact, a 6-month timeline that I'm working with this guy on where there's a whole bunch of shit that goes on, the details of which will probably blow your mind. And hopefully make you a little impressed on how meticulously fucking anal I am about getting shit straight with these guys. So, what I consider a first-line treatment for PFS, you have to try everything. You have to start at a baseline, usually DHT. Now, I suggested and put on the protocol this guy get on test, but the test hadn't made it yet. The test is getting hung up, and he's sitting here in Sufferland, so we're running the DHT for now. I believe in HCG as well. So we're getting some testosterone as well as estradiol. Might be something for you to consider. I feel like I lost my chat here. Farmer Rick's also wondering, if you stop cream or your levels drop to nothing in a few days, 4 or 5 days, yeah, you're going to be down pretty fucking low. Yeah, you're going to be down pretty low 4 or 5 days later. Brother. You don't want that. You don't want that. Jones, what's your baseline TRT protocol? Go start out 180 milligrams sip once a week. What? I don't know what you're saying there. If you're asking what do I think what do I suggest a good starting testosterone protocol would be for just like anybody? What I honestly think that the best protocol for people to be on to start testosterone would be 150 milligrams once a week. Yeah, sip or enanthate. Yeah. If it's enanthate, you might need to bump it up to 170. Because that stuff clears the system faster. Find your dose on once a week. Almost all, not all, but almost all of the guys that like jettisoned all the fucking neurotic Reddit advice and are doing TRT as it's intended never have libido and dick problems. Okay, when people start to micromanage and hyper inject based on changes, like, oh, this happened, I'm going to change. And start taking all this fucking advice, and then their dick goes south. So I'd suggest 150 if it's cypionate, 170 a week if it's testosterone enanthate injected once a week. If you end up having to move to 3.5 days because of side effects or whatever, but the sexual system's still intact, if you do that, then fine. The closest I would go in injections, if it's enanthate, is every other day, but make sure it's a high enough amount of testosterone, like 60 or 70 milligrams a week. Thank you, brother. I mean, every other day. I'm glad you're here. Ferric, 30 milligrams of prop puts me at 840 nanograms per deciliter, I'm assuming, 24 hours after injection. Peak is probably 1,600, maybe 2,000. Yeah, no, I don't think the peak is 950. If 24 hours later you're at 840, at 18 hours, usually it starts to drop off, and that's going to be different between bodies. But no, I think that you're probably at 1,500 when you peak. That's what I would think, at least. Shmulik took my advice and it fixed boners. See, brother, I'm the boner fixer. And been on TRT for 3 years. Going to make a post about it on Reddit. I'm really shortening it here. Great. Make sure you mention me. Plug, mention me. I would love that. And when you do, see if you can comment it like on YouTube or email me ryan@livecortex.com so that I can go respond to it like on Reddit, and give you some love over there, brother. Biscup, how do you feel about running HCG once or twice a year just for healthy testes? If you're one of those people that can get away with no HCG and it doesn't mess with your erections, libido, or sensation, then I think that's fine. I don't think that this idea is a practical idea. I think it's more like an attractive idea. Like, oh, maybe I can, just to keep healthy testicles, like twice a year run HCG. It doesn't really work that way. They're going to shut down in 5-6 weeks, without any HCG. So, and I think the more you do that, based on the studies of anabolic androgenic steroid users and the atrophy in their testicular tissue after they're dead, there's been the studies on that. You don't want to be, doing it every 6 months. Matthew, oral DHT giving you guys the runs? Nope, that's an unusual response. The only thing, not for me, not for any of my clients, but I mean, the mechanism by which this could happen is I believe you do have androgen receptors in your intestines, so it's quite possible that your intestines are responding to DHT, which is speeding up intestinal motility. Yeah, similar to like people that have irritable bowel syndrome. They just got intestinal hypermotility where they're digestive system works too fast. So I would wager that's the problem with your digestive system first, and then DHT somehow is just like exacerbating that. Ori, I always enjoy to hear you, and I remember something I want to tell you, handsome. You win. The anti-Semitic women usually has black eyes. They thinks that because not attracted to us, we need to. All right. Sure thing, brother. I'm sure your English is just a little bit broken, so I'm not quite sure what you're saying there. What dose of tacotrienol? Pretty sure it's 400 milligrams in, it's a German name. It's 400 to 800 milligrams a day. It's a German name brand. It's like, what is it? Crusand. If you just go to Amazon and search for tacotrienols, look for the bottle that has like the brand name is like a German sounding name. I think with a K and like 2 S's somewhere in there. You'll be able to find it if you just search for that. Crypto Magic, good day, sir. Previous SSRI use. Sorry, bro. When anyone tells me that, they've used an SSRI in the past, I mean, there's only one thing I got to say about that usually, and that's, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you. Those drugs should not be taken ever in any fucking condition, in my opinion. There's many other ways to go about depression, not the least of which is to take high potency DHT gel. That depression will go right away, right quick. Test E, 90 milligrams every 4th day. Have noticed a lack of sensation, not running HCG. Yeah, first recommendation be run HCG. Secondarily, though, SRI probably fucked up a lot of things, so, I mean, you might need to be running DHT alongside of this. But you're going to need to find what works for you. If you're exposed to a lot of estrogen and not enough androgens, which is usually the case in these sexual dysfunction issues, then estrogen is just going to be fucking terrible for you for probably 3 or 4 years until your body balances out and you have enough androgens for a while. So you have to control it in the meantime, probably. One way to do that, at least at the genetic level, is to take DHT with your testosterone so that you're getting 2 things, both the DHT and you're getting some estrogen control with the DHT to an extent, just in a different way than an AI. Otherwise, your protocol just might be wrong. I don't know if you need more test or less test. I'm not in your situation, so it's a lot you could try. Reducing that to 70 every 4th day. That's a pretty good fucking protocol. My dick was unstoppable on that with Cypionate, but I didn't feel great. So, or you might need to run 150 every 4th day, or something like 200. I don't know your situation, but without HCG, if you have sensation problems, that's your first thing to look at. Another one, Ryan, on TRT, no HCG, getting estrogen in range seems to be my problem. But then I see your video on HCG and it seems like that could also be my problem, just feeling off a correlation. Well, you don't know. So this is the problem. Well, I wouldn't call it a problem. I would call it a worthwhile challenge with TRT. And that's that you have to try things and give them 4 to 6 weeks to see what the fuck's up. You got to know, for everybody like that runs TRT, like the optimal the usual timeline is trying different things, whether HCG, no HCG, AI, no AI, different types of AIs, DHT derivatives, DHT itself, frequent versus infrequent, sub-Q versus intramuscular, and you need to learn your body and see what you respond better to, you know? Yeah, because there's no norms, despite what people will tell you. This applies to everyone. The moment anyone gives advice that they think is for everyone, you should just shut them off, because people are fucking different for unknown reasons, man. But you need to do effectively a process of elimination. That's one great way to dial in, by the way, everybody. Just do a process of elimination. Run the HCG. If it takes your estrogen higher, which it will, and then like things get worse or something, well then like estrogen, you might still need HCG if there's benefits on sensation and stuff. But the estrogen is high. Then you need to take an AI, probably. Take a low dose of aromasin. If you can tolerate that and it gets you in the range, beautiful, you're dialed in. Leave it forever. If it doesn't because you can't tolerate AIs, well, then you're probably going to have to lower your testosterone dose. So you run that. You run your HCG. You find a good balance. If that doesn't work because your estrogen is still too high, as is the case here with no HCG, well, then you've got to look at why you aromatize a lot. On 200 a week, I aromatize about 35 estradiol. Like that's a healthy person with no liver issues, thyroid issues, doesn't drink a lot, sleeps well, all that kind of stuff. So you've got to figure that out. You shouldn't be aromatizing a lot on even 200. So just something to think about, bro. Process of elimination. Farmer Rick's cream, where he's getting 6 pumps a day and not having the best results, is 150 milligrams per milliliter. Yeah, that's about close to kind of what it would be if you were running 4 or 5 a day. Again, just, still though, try 3 pumps by itself in the morning. See how you fare. At the same time, though, I didn't see your estrogen numbers or any numbers. And so, I mean, if you're trying to shoot blind here, you can go off of symptoms to an extent, but you must get the fucking bloods. You got to get the bloods. So, otherwise you're shooting in the dark. What are my thoughts on running HCG with Kisspeptin? No, I did this toward the end of my Kisspeptin run because I was losing testicular size. Like, it wasn't able to sustainably keep testicular size because the only thing we have available to us is Kisspeptin 10, which you'd have to hyper micro inject multiple times a day. And nobody really wants to do it in small amounts. That's like where the studies show efficacy and all that. Now, I got crazy libido and erections on it, but the testicle shrunk and I started losing sensation a little bit. And it also increased my prolactin a bit. There's a mechanism for that. So, but toward the end of that, bringing HCG back in, I had a happy medium of good libido and erections and then testicular size. But it was increasing prolactin. And for me, I'm not a fan of prolactin. You shouldn't be either. Which increases DHT conversion effectively in the body. Which increased... All right, brother. I think you're going to have to rephrase that. Anthony, in your experience, did you have any major noticeable pros or cons with prop every day versus every other day? Right now, 20 every day. Yeah, I mean, yes, I do better on daily prop versus every other day. If I'm going to do every other day prop, it's got to be fucking at least 70, 80 milligrams at a time. Yeah, not 40. I did that once, and I must have ran it for like 7 days until I was like, on day 2, I am fucking tired. Like on day 2, I actually feel like I am hypogonadal. Like I just feel bad. So that, daily prop dose for me is 50 milligrams. With my workout routine, going to the gym every day, or taking a day off here and there, but running on that day or doing a long walk, I need a lot of prop. I need a lot of testosterone, enough testosterone to sustain that. And 40 every other day, a prop wasn't doing it for me at all, brother. So, yeah, if I was to do every other day a prop, I'd be doing at least 70 milligrams and probably 80. But a day, 50. I would just do daily. If you're on 20 every day, yeah, just do that, dude. You're going to feel much better. You start troughing. The reason this happens is because prop troughs like this, like an airplane that's about to crash. That's how prop troughs like this. It's just cream troughs like this. Enanthate troughs like this. Same thing with cypionate to a larger extent. But prop goes nosedive. So that's what's happening here. Crypto Magic has been prescribed test cream. Clinic has recommended to take bloods 2 hours post dosage. It depends on what you want to know. 2 to 4 hours post the dose, you'll see your peak on testosterone, after which it's going to slowly decline. 6 hours post dosing is where you'll see your peak of DHT. So if you want to know that, which I think you should want to know that, test it at hour 3 and then test it at hour 6 or 7. Yeah, do it the same day, and make the people at Quest think you're weird. That's what I do. They know by now though that I buy my own bloods and I go in there. They're like, it takes 10 minutes. Like not even. Ryan's here for some blood at 6:30 in the morning. They're just like, let's go. We talk about the weather and shit. But that's just how it is. Because normal people don't do that. Normal people come in there with a lab requisition form from their MD that took probably forever for them to fucking get. Getting shit that only the MD's opinion formulated that they need to get, not theirs. It's like, what if you need to fucking run shit at hour 3 and then hour 7? That's the beauty of using companies like discounted labs where you can buy your own labs. Does zinc increase or decrease DHT? I think that there's studies showing that deficiencies in zinc mean less DHT, but that doesn't mean that taking zinc equals more DHT. Zinc as an element also can inhibit 5-alpha reductase, but I think you have to take a real lot of it to reach that point, and I don't know what that number is, probably above 50 milligrams a day. Decreases aromatase expression as well, so it's kind of an AI, just mildly, but I think it's powerful enough. It certainly can lower my estrogen pretty profoundly. So up in the air. I think this about zinc. You should try it if you want to lower estrogen. Don't take too much of it, but there are many other better compounds out there to modify TRT outcomes than zinc, is what I would suggest. Yeah. No, I do not think that permanent shutdown of the testes is better than restarting them with HCG every now and then. What I was saying is that by being shut down for 6 months and then taking HCG to get them enlivened again, they'll be enlivened again for 2 or 3 weeks and then they're shut down again. There's no point in that. What's better is neither of them. Neither of them is better. What's better is more frequent usage of HCG. Will Farrell. Some of the differences between DHT and Proviron. Much harder for me to get DHT where I am currently. Just get the source list. They will ship to you, so long as they ship to you. Yeah. The difference between the two of them. Proviron is an aromatase inhibitor. Yeah, it inhibits aromatase and prevents other androgens from converting into estradiol. Yeah, that's one reason. That's one thing. Secondly, Proviron has something like a 5 or 6x higher affinity for the sex hormone binding globulin, which means it increases your free hormones much more substantially than DHT does. And it lowers SHBG much more substantially than DHT does. DHT, on the other hand, prevents estrogen from genetic cascades. Basically, like estrogen will bind to a receptor, activate the receptor under the presence of DHT, but after the activation of the receptor, which is where all the really good shit happens in this gene expression stuff, it just severs the pulse, right? It severs the, what's the word I'm fucking looking for? It severs the signal. It just severs the signal right then and there. You have receptor activation and then nothing after. It's really the after that matters regarding estradiol, where you actually get the effects. So Proviron, I don't think Proviron really does that. At the same time, Proviron can fix mutated androgen receptors. So if one of the 3 binding domains which control the gene expression after androgens are bound to receptors are down, Proviron can fix those. Whereas DHT is more likely to potentially do that. There's no studies on it, but more likely to upregulate both androgen receptor activity and 5-alpha reductase expression. So these are vastly different compounds, despite people saying that Proviron is DHT. You get similar feels And you might have somewhat similar effects on sexual function, but doses have to be like scaled in order to do that. Like, they're not the same compounds, boys. Not at all. Like somebody recently, like foolishly, I hate these like comments that are like thoughtless. Like on my DHT 20% video, guy was like, you could just take sublingual Proviron and reach the same thing. No, you fucking can't. No, you fucking can't. Where the fuck did you get that idea? And like, thanks for insulting my intelligence that you think that that's something that you can comment, like zero nuance. I asked him, I'm like, well, do you know the implications of the inhibition of aromatase on Proviron versus DHT and how that affects clinical outcomes? No nuance, dude. So they're much different. They're much different. Good morning. Easy. I didn't eat this morning. I usually do before live streams. I get up early, but this morning I slept in for the first time in quite a long time. So my egg, bacon, and cheese English muffin is waiting for me, brother. Then we're going to do some working out. Some working out. Some gym time. Some gym time, brother. Matthew Craig just got some blood work and TSH is within range, but at the very bottom of the reference range. Anything that I should do to address this or not a big deal? I think you should go on the hype. TSH is within range, but at the bottom of the range. I think you should go both in the hyper and the hypothyroid subreddits and read people's experiences about that situation and then decide what to do from there. Consult an endocrinologist on that. And if they tell you, do you have symptoms? First of all, do you have symptoms? That'd be the indication there's something to change about this. But yeah, go read some of the forums on thyroid, whether it's hyper or hypo. Read both of them so that you can understand TSH and how it affects thyroid hormone output. And then make a decision on what you need to do from there. Also consult an endo that will listen to you if you have symptoms. Sammy used Proviron for the first time and it gave him crazy libido and instant hard-ons, and then it stopped. Stopped taking it for a month. Now I'm back on it and still no effect. Hard to say. It either lowered SHBG a little too much, so you need to look at that. You need to go get bloods. Secondarily, are you on the same protocol test-wise or whatever that you were then? Are you taking it with test or without test? Because again, in some of these cases, without test, you have no estrogen. It takes estrogen too low, and you're definitely going to have sexual dysfunction there. So what could be the reason? I need more information, man. You need to seek more information. You need to learn more about this. What could be the reason? You didn't mention if you were on test or not. That's a pretty fucking big deal. I mean, it's a big factor here, brother. Crypto Magic, last E2 was slightly over range, unable to test sensitive in the UK. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry for you folks in there. That's honestly one of the most crazy things ever. It's like, how the fuck are you supposed to know where your estrogen is if you can only test estrogen where it picks up other shit? I mean, come on. These guys should get, these guys really should get. I don't know, like, what the big blockade is. Like, they really need to get estradiol sensitive, but they won't. No tips on using the general E2 number. You're going to have to go by feel. How do I have such high free test in the hundreds when I run 20 milligrams prop daily? I had 1,800 total and only in the 40s free. Is that genetics or SHBG? I think that you should look at if your SHBG is high, because if it is, then that will cause that. Yeah. That will definitely cause that, bro. You take some DHT derivatives or DHT itself, and probably you're going to get that SHBG a lot lower. 20 milligrams of prop daily, though, not a high dose. Not a high dose. But the main problem there is almost definitely going to be the higher SHBG. Yeah. Give me 1 second. For some reason, I can't ban Ori because he's just now posting weird shit. I wonder if this is the same Ori that tried to scam us after a consult and we ended up getting our money back. Because there was a weird fucking dude named Ori. Generally a piece of shit of a human being and a loser. But this guy's posting weird shit. So if you guys can report that dude or something, for some reason I can't block him. Might be because the chat is still in weird mode. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Ori's now hidden. Ori, I don't know if you're I don't know what your situation is, but those are the weirdest fucking questions in the world. Okay. Let me see where we were here. Okay, now I need to get the overlay URL again. Just give me 1 second, boys. 1 second. Gentle brothers. Hey, gentle brothers. Todd, 62-year-old male on 175 a week, pinned every 5 days. So what do you pin? Like 140 every 5 days? Pain overall the last 3 years. Back, partial knee replacement, and big toe surgery. How much DECA do you recommend? None. I recommend none DECA in this situation. Yeah. I recommend trying to find another route to try to resolve this problem. I don't recommend you inhibit tubuloinfundibular dopamine neurons, which is what DECA is likely doing, which is why it causes increases in prolactin in some people. You also want to look into DECA, which some people think is merely related to the lack of estrogen in, like Ryan Root thinks that when you're running it without tests. But there's plenty of people, including people I've worked with personally, I've had long conversations with, who have taken tests with DECA to have enough estrogen, they still ended up getting DECA. There's a person I know, I wouldn't call intimately, but like personally, like he is a friend of mine, and this guy took DHT to fix DECA, and it worked. And we postulate that dihydronandrolone, which is one of the 5-alpha reduced metabolites of nandrolone, was somehow occupying ARs at the tissue level. I personally would not take DECA. Just anything that has the potential to cause sexual dysfunction, I'm not going to, I'm not taking it. But some people are fine on it, just like some people are fine on finasteride. You want to roll that fucking dice? I wouldn't suggest any DECA. Let's see. Mr. Slavic Peasant says Proviron was used back in the 70s and 80s before tamoxifen. Topical DHT was used to spot treat gonorrhea. Absolutely, yeah. I mean, it's got a receptor or genetic genetic expression terminating factor to it after receptors are activated. So, I think both of those things would probably do that. I think DHT would do it to a more substantial effect. Yeah. He vanished. Was that Ori? Yeah, he was posting dumb shit. Do I game on console or just PC? Strictly PC. Although with Warzone, I'm considering just getting a PS5 because it's loaded with cheaters right now. Warzone is loaded with cheaters, and it's like every other dude. I'm good at the game. I'm a 30-year gamer. 34-year gamer? I've been gaming for 30 years. I have a fucking gamer tag. There's gamer shit everywhere. True gamer. And I'm getting iced by people in gunfights that I shouldn't lose. You know what I mean? It's probably because they're using either a Zim, which is basically modifies your input and gives you a stronger aim assist, among other things, no recoil, or they're using actual aimbot, with high settings or low settings. Again, Valorant, Fortnite, all these AAA studios, these other great games, they don't have cheating problems. If somebody is cheating on their game, they're fucking banned instantly. That's it. COD, on the other hand, a disproportionate amount of the people are cheating. We're in a real bad place with that game. And these idiots at fucking Treyarch and Activision think, we'll just bring back Verdansk, this old map that we used to play on. That'll do it, and some old guns. No, fix your fucking game. Fix the input lag. Fix the floaty movement. Fix fix your engine so that there's no visual clutter. On M&K, which is what I play most of the time, keyboard and mouse, it's fucking nearly impossible. I mean, you can do it, but oh God, don't get me started on that shit. PC though. I'm not too fond of either perma shutdown testes or running HCG for the next few decades, so considering other options. Why aren't you fond of it? Whatever is making you not fond of it is probably some error in judgment or error in attribution. HCG is perfectly fine. Culver, good morning, Ryan. Hit that like button. Maybe I'll hit the like button. Click. Running to, where are we at here? Running 150 test and 100 primo. Okay. And injection and D-ball at 25 every other day. Blood's looking good far. I don't think so. I don't really know what you're trying to do, so I can't really help you there. Will agreed on potentially having to go by fills for E2. Yeah, listen, unfortunately for the UK and these other places that are obviously like prehistoric in their management of bloods, that they can't do estradiol sensitive for some stupid reason, then you will have to go on feels. You can do that. You can do it, you just, but you know, as I said in the beginning, you can't make changes too quickly based on feels. People make the mistake of doing that, and you'll never dial in. 6-8 weeks, whatever ester, 4 to 5 weeks on a short ester. You got to give it time to know kind of where you're at, because for sure the effect at 2 weeks on something like testosterone anything that you're going to get is not going to be the same thing that happens at 4 weeks. When I changed to running this 150 milligram every 3.5 day cycle thing, libido and erections were inconsistent for 3 weeks. Now they're good. Now they're just good. Now I have DHT in my regimen, but not every day. Not every day. Do PSSD brothers generally need more DHT? I would think so. My clinic has never asked me to check DHT in the bloods. That's because they're idiots and they don't deal with sexual dysfunction or anything. And a lot of clinics, unfortunately, they have like the founding MDs, and then below which are the consultants. And some of the consultants are good, but some of them are absolute idiots who just, they don't know about this physiology, or at least fixing sexual dysfunction. All they know is, if this is happening, we'll test estrogen, and then we'll maybe just give you like it's just the simplest shit. Like they just know the basic simple shit. So sometimes they're not going to help you. That's why source lists plug is like, you'll make your money back instantly, first of all. And that's why I feel so comfortable pushing it, because it you have to circumvent your clinic sometimes and just get other stuff that they'll never prescribe you. So you'll never dial in unless you get DHT or Proviron or Masteron or Primo or whatever. Maybe go super, super fringe rather, and do a non-aromatizable androgen with estradiol so that you can fully control where estrogen goes. And, you don't have problems on TRT or androgens in general. But, everybody needs DHT, and probably sexual dysfunction people need it more than others. Yeah, there's only one androgen capable of restoring penile vascular endothelial function, and that's DHT. That's DHT. Easy with the big $20 super chat. Thanks, brother. So if you're switching to test prop and we're on SIP, would you stay on the same dose? No. Nope. Completely different. Or just space it out, divided doses over a week. What is your indications and protocol for Proviron and starting dose? All right, so these are two questions here. First of all, if you're going to switch to test prop and you're running a TRT dose of tescipionate, call it 150 milligrams, prop has its own sort of structure of dosing. Yeah, it's got its own dose norms. Start with 20 milligrams a day is what I would suggest. Run that for 2-3 weeks and see how you feel and how you fare. If you're starting to get really tired on, toward the end of the day, and your workout routine, gym routine or something makes it so that, just 20 milligrams of prop a day isn't enough and you're tired, well, you should bump it to 30 a day. And then scale upwise until you feel really good, really consistently. And then think about the sexual function. What's happening there? Go run labs, see where estrogen is, see where it's taking it, see where at the trough estrogen is, see where at the peak estrogen is. Decide if you've got to add Primo Masteron or an AI in that case. And then kind of just go from there. But no, the doses don't translate at all. They don't. They might end up somewhat similar, like if you're on 140 a week of Cipionate and then you start with 20 milligrams a day of test prop, well, that's 140 a week. But your numbers are going to go higher quicker and drop lower faster. So it's a completely different experience. It's a great way to dial in faster and to be able to change your protocol a little faster, like after, again, week 3, week 4, rather than 8 weeks. But, just start at 20 milligrams, work your way up stepwise until you find, what ends up working for you and determine if you need to manage estrogen. What's my indication and protocol for Proviron and starting dose? 12.5 milligrams once a day would be, the baseline starting dose of Proviron. Yeah, 12.5 milligrams once a day. Because then you might get everything you need from just that. Yeah. Yep. And, you're not going to torture hair significantly on that. Whereas 25, start, torturing your hair if you're susceptible to, which most people are on Proviron, me included with good hair genes. Proviron starts to nuke my shit. So just something to think about there. And then decide, do I need more of what Proviron is giving me, at which point go to 25 a day? Yeah. I mean, there are some pretty fringe cases of people running 50 to 75 to 100 a day, and they're just rock hard all the time and everything's great. But for them, they're usually on cycles of testosterone, so they need a lot of Proviron. Yeah. Crypto started playing Hell Let Loose. Never heard of it. Might switch to PC. Yeah, PC is just generally better. I mean, you're going to get better frames and less input lag and stuff, but it depends on the game. Yeah, I just want a COD killer, something that's just like Call of Duty, slide canceling and, all that sort of shit, and popular, but doesn't have shitty developers. Culver, at some point I want to go for more mass. I'm 5'10", 185 pounds. That's not bad. That's exactly what I am, 5'10" and 185 right now. Yeah. HCG at 750 every other day. Oh, 750 a week. And libido bangs. Okay, great. Yeah, if you want to put on mass and you don't want to fuck with your libido, I would use Anavar. Yeah, that's what I would do. Yep. Yeah, because, the more tests you put on, then you're going to have inconsistencies in libido and erections for 4 weeks or something when you change the dose, definitely. So something to think about there. Whereas if you just take Anavar on top of TRT, like when your sexual system's good and you just run Anavar, you'll get all the anabolic benefits of Anavar, and it shouldn't fuck with your erections or libido, which is what you want. You don't want that to be happening. Thank you, brother. Appreciate the super chat. Bro. Thanks, Brosephine. Slavic Peasant. Are there any studies on medicine or others that advocate HMG versus HCG? I don't think I've come across any, no, but that's a good question. Yeah. I have primary testicular failure. I know the difference, but you have a lot more experience, and antidotes are in here. You've got primary testicular failure? Okay, interesting. Yeah, I'm not sure at that point that those things would work for you, though. Like if your brain's pumping out gonadotropins and the testicles aren't responding, I'm not entirely sure that HMG or HCG would help. But you need to try. We need to try and see if they help you. What is causing your testicular failure? You have like a spermatocele or something like that? That's an interesting one. Biscup might be my B. Was convinced that there's no long-term use data on HCG in men. That's why I was iffy about it. Convinced? Well, there's a ton of studies on HCG. You're probably just referencing Dave Lee, which Dave, you got to remember about people that have like definitive statements about shit is that Dave does fine without HCG. Not everybody does fine without HCG. Me and him covered a whole study comparing LH and HCG, and no, they're not the same thing. They're not the same thing. HCG does different things at the gene expression level than HCG does. So it's something to consider. But like we have enough anecdotal out there, me included, but I'm one. What am I? I'm an N equals 1. We have so much out there of people using HCG, and they're great. Have you ever knowingly cured anyone with PSSD? Well, yeah. I mean, I've worked with people with PSSD, and our job is to get them fixed. But you have to be careful with the word cure, because people think like the PSSD community, I think, has like how to get better and the structure for how that works. Wrong. Number one, because they're focused on neurotransmitters, which are not going to help you at all. Taking nootropics or anything that's going to affect brain chemistry, that's not it. Secondarily, though, they think they can take a regimen and then it cures something, and then they can stop taking the regimen. Anyone that I've ever been able to get to morning erection, sensation, libido, erections for sex, well-being back, strength, confidence, masculinity, anabolism, all back from these down states where they don't feel anything and their libidos are muted, well, they're still on androgens. You don't, in a different context, but a similar situation somewhat, you don't take a guy that's androgen deprived, just being hypogonadal, put him on TRT. Then when he starts getting anabolic and has his erections back, you take him off TRT. Why would you do that? So cure implies you can do something and then you don't have to do it anymore. No, you can be on hormones for the rest of your life, which is a great thing. a great thing. It's what you want to do, you know? Every single 50-year-old that I know that's on hormones is fucking walking around like with energy and feels so much better than every other 50-year-old, their counterparts or their co-workers or whatever that aren't on hormones. So, yeah, no, you definitely want to get on the right hormone protocol, dial it in, and then stay on it. That's the way you fix sexual dysfunction of any type. Yeah. Culver, thank you for the super chat, brother. I'm going to tell you something right now, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you, Culver. Big Culver with the big 5. Thanks. Anything else here that we're missing? I think that's it here. Boys, I just sent out an email to the email list. If you need to get on it, go to livecortex.com. A pop-up will pop up and says, hey, look, if you want 20% off of anything, just give us your email. So yeah, you're giving us your email, which we will market to. I will send you emails with specials. So just keep that in mind. But those specials are like right now, 20% off everything. And there's a code for that. It's in the description of this video. If not, it should be. It's 20 now, just 20, 20, and then the word now. Saves you 20% off of every product, including coaching. So those of you thinking of doing a 3-month or a 6-month, well, now would be the time because you're going to save 20%, you know. I'm not emphasizing that in the emails or whatever, but so yes, it is 20% off the coaching right now. So you can do that at livecortex.com. Same thing with Sourceless though. If you need to get Sourceless for whatever reason, again, you'll make your money back right away. Literally your first purchase because how cheap things are and the convenience of things as well. Use that code, boys. Get some money off. Get some discounts. Zahid, besides using TAS, what do you recommend for endurance and combat sports? I mean, back in the day, I dosed pregnenolone and it always helped me have more endurance. So, but that's kind of like, you know, converting to androgens, you know. I mean, I guess my simple answer would be salt. Salt. Yeah. Like salt is, man, people really underestimate the power of sodium. Just if I go do a walk that will be 2-3 miles in 70-degree heat, like the last few days, you know, I either drink an entire fucking Gatorade or Powerade, or I bring 1,000 milligrams sodium chloride tablets with me, you know, with water. So I can just throw it down, chew it up, and then like if I start to feel a little weak or tired during the walk, which might happen at various points, especially when it's hotter out. And if I've gone to the gym earlier that day, then I'm just taxing my body and you need to put more in, as is the case with endurance or combat sports. I take more sodium, I'm like instantly back to feeling like an animal again, you know? So sodium would be it. Yeah. Nutricoast, I believe is the brand, makes a 1,000 milligrams sodium chloride tablet that you could either swallow or just chew it. I just chew it and you can actually taste all the salt. It kind of tastes good. And then you just throw it down with some water. Phenomenal. Otherwise, keep Gatorade or Powerade on deck. That shit does work for these situations. But, you know, generally speaking, salt. Sometimes you need a little more. Sometimes you need more than what a Powerade or a Gatorade can give you. And that's why the sodium chloride tablets are fucking clutch, man. Clutch. Last year when I was running, which I'm, you know, going to get back to, I'm still running, but just not as much, because the winter's been shitty. But when I was running every other day and shit, or every day I was running for a while, you know, there were days where we had a heat wave of between 90 and 100 degrees. It was just like that for like 3 weeks. I had 2 grams sodium before the run, 1 gram of sodium, you know, with some water right after the run. Otherwise, I was starting to feel real fucked up, you know, just like, you know, signs of heat exhaustion and shit. So, that's what I'd suggest. Salts. You need to fucking salt. Fit Fast Store just started on test cream. Feel great. Only on day 3. Yeah, it's very early. I'm trying to work out my daily routine in the morning. Do you shower then gym? Then just wait a few hours to shower after the gym. Yeah, this is a tricky one regarding cream. What I did was I showered first thing in the morning, and then I applied the cream, and then I didn't go to the gym until 11 a.m. or something, so that, you know, after the gym shower, it had already been 4 hours. Then I could take a shower and not have to worry about losing some of the testosterone. It had already absorbed at that point. So that's what I think you should do, you know, unless you have to go to the gym in the morning, in which case take a good clean shower at night right before you go to bed, so you're clean for the, you know, for the most part for the gym in the morning. And then after the gym, take another shower in the morning and then apply the cream. That's what I'd suggest. Easy with the $20 super chat. Make androgens great again, brother. Thank you for that, man. You didn't have to pay me $20 to say that, but I appreciate that a lot, man. You know, everything helps. Well, we're spending 30 grand on new product every time we get new torque. It helps, brother. Thank you for that, though. I really appreciate it, man. Honestly. Ilya, Captain Slavic Peasant. I had emergency sepsis, and had a necrotic small bowel resection. Interesting. Guts rearranged and sensitivity came back after that, and tests started dropping. I don't know how to respond to that, brother, but I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Chocolate cravings, high E2, possibly. I mean, if you think about I think fluctuating hormones would do this too. If you think about a menstruating woman, they're usually interested in chocolate a lot. So might be something to look at. Also having joint pain in knees and brain fog. Okay. Johnny Cook, Primo acetate, even worth it to help strength? So that's a very fast-acting injectable version of Primobolan, right? I would say that probably worth it, but you got to inject it every day, more than likely. Yeah. That's what I would suggest there. Yeah. I mean, if you're one of those people that likes to change things pretty quickly, then yeah, maybe do Primo acetate. Otherwise, Primobolan enanthate is kind of what people usually use. Not sure what this means. Maurizio, good day, brother. Maximum level of DHEA in blood you suggest? I don't suggest any level. I suggest taking the dose of DHEA that you find works for you. DHEA in my regimen is pretty powerful. The moment I dose it, like in the morning, I'm very, very horny. And a lot of that, it depends on when I inject a test and whatever, but the DHEA just amplifies the horniness, I tried to isolate if it's like cortisol increasing or whatever it is. It can't be testosterone increasing because I'm manipulating that myself. But every morning I have the baseline of libido and erections every morning after dosing. A series of supplements, none of which are really geared toward sexual function other than the thyroid supplement I take. But DHEA. Every morning after dosing that, I'm horny as fuck for like 3 hours, and then that starts to taper out and whatever, go back to my normal baseline. So I run at this point 20 milligrams a day, sometimes 20 milligrams twice a day. I'll do that if there's like, sexy time in the evening with my girl or whatever. I don't know. But DHEA, it just always increases horniness for me personally. Find the dose that works for you. S. Gill took 75 milligrams Masteron 2 days ago. First AAS cycle. Wow, blew up and hard as fuck. Belly fat gone. Was definitely hypo before. Hypo what? A brother. But yeah, Masteron is quick acting. It also hardens you up very fucking quickly. Yeah. I mean, I respond to DHT derivatives fucking crazily, as well as DHT itself. Like, I haven't taken the DHT for 3 days. But then prior to that, it was like every day in a row. And I'm telling you, like, I'm leaning out right now because I'm in a cut. So I'm in a calorie deficit. But when I tell you my physique, like, fucking changed just in those 3 days using DHT, it's like changes right away, dude. Right away. Right a fucking way, dude. Same thing happens on Proviron. My physique will start changing right away. And I just get like super lean. And again, the muscle sort of definition on DHT stuff is fucking crazy. Like, look at this. This is about as lean as I got, and this was running DHT, or correction, I was running oral DHT, I think, at this point, but with 500 milligrams of test. And I was able to get, my muscles were so lean and fucking hard, it was like insane. Here's somewhat of a example of that, but with less test. Like, you just see how the definition just gets crazy. That's what DHT stuff does to you. It's just what it does to you, man. It's fucking crazy. Said on TRT for 8 weeks, 200 milligrams. Phenomenal in the gym. Okay, but retaining water, have no libido and only erections at night when super relaxed. E2 was 28. Total T was 1,000. So you're probably on an AI. Yeah. And that might be fucking with your libido. In this case, I would take that 200 milligrams a week, but lose the AI, let that estrogen go up, give it 6 weeks, see where it goes. It might end up at 45, 50 at peak, but then it's going to go back down. And that might be fine for you, you know? Yeah, if your estrogen is 28 at 200 milligrams a week, you're either very, very lean and have a great lifestyle, or you're taking an AI. Yeah, and if your libido is suffering, it's probably the AI. But I don't have enough information in this to give you like a definitive answer. So you got to give some more info. You've got to provide the information, brother, so that I can consider exactly what my response should be. Brother, hope everyone's doing well. Have you had a good weekend so far? Are you looking forward to the spring? Yeah. Ready to get outside more, man. Can't wait. My chick, this girl I'm dating, who's just a phenomenal woman and a fucking super pretty, goddamn beautiful fucking chick. She's so pretty, dude. She's so fucking pretty, man. She's in Jamaica. Coming back today. I'm pumped because her and I are going to get together soon. And yeah, I missed her, you know. I've had in dating, I wouldn't call it a rough time, but I haven't met anyone I really liked, you know. I mean, yeah, I guess somewhat in some cases, but this girl is very different, you know. So maybe you really, it's a numbers game. Law of averages, brother. So I'm happy my chick's coming back from Jamaica later on today. So I'm excited about that. After the live stream, I'm going to work out in some capacity here. Probably just hit the gym. And what did I do? Shoulders yesterday? Yeah, I have to do chest. I've got to do chest. Not really noticing a whole lot of additional anabolism on 300. Honestly, it's not much different than 3 pumps of cream. I got to consider either going to 500, which is going to change things again. I'm not sure if I want to do that, or just back to TRT and run some Anavar, or give it all a break and then run some Anavar. I'm not sure. Jared Saucedo with a $9 super chat. $9.99, that is. Thanks, bro. How sustainable is 60 milligrams of test prop daily? Forever if bloods are good. Forever sustainable. Yeah. I think the only thing you have to worry about there is some hair loss. I get hair loss on higher dose prop. It just happens. High amounts of free hormones is just going to cause that, even if you have good genes. But maybe not for you. I mean, I don't know. Otherwise, PIP will eventually just kind of accumulate, even if it's in the glute. Yeah, it's doable. Like I ran 70 every day for a while with a lot of cream, with some cream. And yeah, it just was tender. You know, the glute was tender after injection. You know, it was just consistently tender, I would say. Yeah. But I was a walking boner on a lot of props. So, like, you know, there's benefits to that. Yep, a lot of benefits to that, you know. So something to consider. But I think, again, I mean, I wouldn't worry about, like, LVH. That's really not a concern unless you're running grams upon grams upon grams of testosterone. If blood pressure is good, if hematocrit's not going high, if you don't start having fucking breathing problems because your blood is too thick, then you're fine. Just monitor all that, you know. And if worst comes to worst, if your crit goes high, just donate blood or take Naringen and you'll be fine. You'll be G to G, otherwise known as good to go, brothers. Brothers, do you have any more questions, brothers? Torque Stack, 20% off. Just take 2 capsules and get brain performance. Code down in the description, brethren. What are you going to do today, guys? Is it nice where you are? I hope it's nice. Right now, it's like 60 degrees. It'll be 70 today. A little overcast, unfortunately. All right, the sun's not going to be out all day, but we'll deal with that. I'm going to go to the gym after this. I'm going to eat a meal, go to the gym, come back, maybe game for a little bit, and then do a big, long walk, baby. Big, long, calorie-burning walk. I'm excited. Said, no AI, just dim and calcium glucarate, AM and PM. So maybe that's your problem right there. You know, you're just lowering the estrogen a little too much. Also, CDG will clear some testosterone a little faster, so just something to keep in mind if your test isn't high enough. 30 minutes of fasted cardio and L-carnitine and yohimbine. Him should it help erections, could mute libido a little bit because of that adrenergic signaling. It's a hard one, man. But I would experiment with getting your estrogen a little higher or a little lower, and you need to kind of see where that's at. I couldn't imagine lower than 28 is going to help you, but you never know, bro. I never know. Also, though, you might need more tests. If I remember your question correctly, a lot of people need more tests, bro. Yeah. And don't pay any mind to that. That's a cycle, people. They're idiots. They don't know how to, they're so mindlessly like mind slaves that they accept like that 200 milligrams is a test cycle. They accept the information that Redditors are saying. They've seen nothing. A mere 100 guys would show them that their ideas are bullshit. Maybe you need to be at 1,500. Maybe you need to be at 2,000. I feel pretty fucking good hovering around 1,800 to 2,500. My right now that my protocol is effectively stabilized, my erections, libido, like fucking great. Might need more tests, dude. I can achieve that on lower levels of tests, but it's got to be at least 200, for me. Ryan, do you recommend 5 milligrams tadalafil for slightly elevated blood pressure? It could help. It could help drop the blood pressure just a little bit. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be super substantial. If you want to compound the effects of tadalafil, take 200 to 400 milligrams naringin. Then you'll compound those effects and you'll get better erections even, but just monitor your blood pressure there because it might go too low or it might fix the problem completely. For sure, that's going to amplify the blood pressure lowering effect of tadalafil. But also, though, it's going to amplify the boners, which is good. Okay. Other questions? Easy. So you run test prop and cream. I'm at work till 1,400. Brother. I have run test prop and cream. Yeah, 70 milligrams prop, 3 pumps of cream daily. Yeah, it's like fucking 600 or 700 milligrams a week total androgens. It was crazy. It wasn't as anabolic as a long ester as you might imagine, but my erections were nuts. Right now, I'm just running test enanthate 150 every 3.5 days. Just trying the sports TRT dose. I never really ran 300 before. I'm not really impressed, to be honest. Been 5 weeks. I'm not more anabolic. Nope. Just not. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm also in a calorie deficit. I'm trying to lean out so I look smaller, So, but I'm not any stronger on 300. Honestly, 560 a week really was powerful. Anavar was real powerful for me personally. Everybody responds differently to tests, So I might just go back to TRT. I don't know. I'm not, it's like I'm like wasting tests at this point. I feel great. My libido and stuff is good now that balanced out. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm on 300 of enanthate a week. Brother. Feels like we skipped spring and straight to summer in Milwaukee. It was in the 70s. Well, that's kind of spring, But that happens in Pittsburgh too. We just go from, winter to a little bit of spring and then 90 degrees, bro. But I'm all good with it, man. Let's go. We made it. We made it through the winter, boys. We made it. I don't have any thoughts on this because you're not giving me if you have symptoms, if you feel good, if you don't feel good. You got to be more nuanced than that, man. Super chat that if you want me to look at bloods as well. DNAV, how did you run aromasin while on prop? Did I need to run aromasin on prop? Since everyday injection peaks estrogen with a shot. I think you'd probably try to approach it. You'd probably approach it the same way. You would approach it with 3.25 once a week to start, or 3.125, and then 6.25 once a week after that if you need more estrogen control. And 12.5 milligrams once a week. The best frequency for aromasin in my experience is once a week. Once a week to once every 10 days, maybe every 14 days. You got to figure out what works for you. But doing it frequently, you're sure as fuck going to drop the estrogen too low and it's going to creep up on you. Have I ever tried nandrolone? No, probably never will. Too much sexual dysfunction associated with that. Yep. And it ain't just lower estrogen, it's just, there's some other mechanism, man. The shit 5-alpha reduces to 5-alpha dihydroanandrolone, which can probably occupy ARs. So, it also increases prolactin gene expression in some studies. So, I think there are better things than nandrolone. Nandrolone will be great if it didn't like cause decadic in some people, and the mechanism was like somewhat unclear. Like there's just a bunch of different potential options for that, reasons why that could be happening. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck? No, I'm not going to take Nandrolone. Nope. Like, I would rather take Primobolan and then just take estradiol if it takes my estrogen too low, or really increase my testos. Yeah. Big Nord finally made a live. Well, it's probably just times, I'm usually off the live by now, but maybe you wake up a little later or you're in a different time zone and it's earlier in California. Thanks for all the info and silly ways. You're welcome, bro. I'm very grateful to being introduced to Prop. Thanks to you. Grab the source list too. It's great. Awesome. Glad you're having good, success, man. That's what it's all about. Especially when I'm working with people one-on-one, because I get to see their anecdotals and see them happy again because their dick works and their libido's back and they feel good, man. It makes me happy, dude. Because, that's a big part. Like TRT is life-changing, man. And hormones in general, they're life-changing. That's why I'm going to start a clinic, boys. The best clinic. The biggest clinic. And we're not going to do silly shit like not manage estrogen, because apparently some clinics do that. By the way, I get a lot of their defectors come to me for coaching. Oh, I was at this clinic or that clinic, and they don't manage estrogen, but my dick doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know what to tell these people. Ideology should not fucking trump science or people's experiences. You start getting an ideology into, how you prescribe TRT and TRT protocols, and then real life symptoms, you'll ignore them. They can't permeate your brain because your ideology goes, well, this isn't possible. This isn't possible that they're having this issue on this dose and estrogen's this high. This isn't possible because estrogen doesn't cause blah, blah, blah. Come on, bro. Come on, brother. 17 beta hydroxyandrostone. The more tests I take, the better I feel. 600 a week seemed best, but that's also where I stopped. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, you might be one of those people too. There's studies on 600 milligrams a week, and there really wasn't any seriously negative outcomes other than modification of lipids, which you could control with, a natural statin called tocotrienols. They act as a natural statin, basically. Yeah, I felt fucking great on 560 a week, bro. Fucking great. And after I managed estrogen a very little bit and things balanced out, sexual function was real good. Jared Saucedo, finally starting on a HCG 250 IU every other day after more than a year on TRT with no HCG. Good starting protocol. Yeah, that's the normal starting protocol. High aromatizer, so I'm attempting to up my primo dose to 10 to 20 milligrams daily. That might be a good preemptive thing to do. You might find that, you need the estrogen. I don't know. Or that balance there. Who knows? But I think that's a good dose to start. Right now, I'm trialing less frequent HCG injections. It's really nothing. I've not done that in the past. I've just dosed it pretty frequently as to avoid spikes. But I'm trialing just 500 IU once a week. Just started doing that. So far, so good. And it probably ultimately end up lowering the total estradiol. It's one of the reasons I did that, because I'm running a little higher test right now. So I guess we're going to see Jordan G Unit with the big super chat. Thank you, brother. I appreciate the fact that you're in here dumping the cash and giving the super chats. Thanks, bro. Hope you're doing great. Thanks for the explanation on your name last week or 2 weeks ago or whenever that was. Question. Give me your general thoughts on using source list versus clinic and their compounding pharmacies. I've done both, and the UGL stuff seems clean so far. Any concerns to consider? I think that I did my best to collect sources on source list of stuff that is really good, really high quality. Yeah, like some of the UGLs, you get product and it looks like a UGL product. It's just there's a label on it, but it looks like very UGL. Some of them, though, are indistinguishable from pharmaceutical grade Prop, Zip, Enethate, whatever, Masteron. Yeah, literally name of the company, milligram per milliliter, like carrier oil, usually MCT, label, logo, just really, really, really clean shit, man. So right now I'm not using a clinic, They would prescribe me high doses of test. They have before Defy. We're okay with me running 560, actually. But they've had some shortcomings, recently. Not the least of which are primarily is they don't empower their pharmacy. Doesn't make prop anymore, foolishly, and their cream is not coming from Empower anymore, which it used to be. So you start changing things without telling people, and then they're like, "Oh, just use the SIP prop blend if you used prop. It's pretty similar." No, it isn't. No, it fucking isn't. Dumb. So UGL for me, bro. UGL. I got like a 30 milliliter. What is it? Yeah, I have a 30 milliliter, just a big thing of testosterone enanthate that I got from UGL. Cheap, 30 mils. Or is it more than that? It's a lot. And that's kind of where I'm at. So in the end, yeah, is pharmaceutical grade androgens like better? Yes. Yes, they are. But if your clinic sucks, if it costs too much, if it takes too long to ship to you, if there's delays, if they want to start discontinuing product all the fucking sudden, like prop, you got to go UGL, man. There's a couple clinics that can have, and a couple pharmacies that's still prescribing it, but you largely got to go UGL for prop. Like whenever at some point I'm sure I'm going to run prop again. I have a lot of it from UGL, from the source list, man. And it's great. It's great. I'm just going to run that. And even if the clinics had it, I wouldn't use the clinics anyway because it's cheaper and better and you get more. And it's MCT oil usually with the UGLs. So it's about finding good UGLs, man. Not some guy who is doing it in a bathtub. Good UGLs with clean rooms and whole setups, that are dedicated to making pure quality, good stuff without contaminants. That's what you want to find, and that's what we put together in the source list, man. Yeah. Now, is every UGL perfect? No, there's going to be shortcomings. That's UGL. But it's sort of a trade-off. You have maybe a bit of apprehension for doing UGL because you don't understand, because it's not a pharmaceutical environment. It's close to it for a lot of them, especially ones I selected. But you get 10 vials of HCG for fucking far cheaper, literally, than one vial of Pregnal. The idea that people are paying $250 for 10,000 IUs of Pregnal HCG is fucking robbery. No one should pay that. Sourceless has an option for 10 vials of 5,000 IU for cheaper. Get it, bro. You'll be happy. Is testosterone cream the same as DHT cream? Vastly different. Hell yeah. DHT is also vastly different than testosterone. That's another thing for people to consider. Way different. DHT itself is just strong, powerful, masculinity-inducing, confidence-inducing, muscle hardening. Test does that, but largely through DHT and not to the same extent. Dose-wise, in terms of scaling, it's just not the same thing. I am daring with a $5 super chat. Thank you, bro. I have E2 outside of normal range. 250 milligrams test E and 150 a test P a week. Well, yeah, you would have E2 out of range there. No symptoms, crazy good libido. Any suggestions about E2? Nothing. No, nothing. Yeah. If everything is good, don't touch it. I mean, that's the biggest thing. Whether we know or not that estrogen in some men causes the veins in the penis to leak, which it does. Whether we know, if it causes dopamine inhibition in the arcuate nucleus, which it does, of the brain. Whether we know that it can be feminizing, well, you have enough androgens in this case, so it's probably not a problem. Your experience right now tells you at 131 picograms per milliliter with almost definitely 3,000 to 5,000 total tests and a lot of DHT that you're fine. So stay there. Stay right where you're at is where I would suggest. Do run bloods. Here's the thing, though. Do run bloods on other stuff, though. Make sure your hematocrit's in range. Check your blood pressure and all this other shit. Make sure that's good. But if you're a walking boner and you feel great, don't change anything. If it ain't broke, what's the thing? If it's not broken, then you fix it. You shouldn't fix it. Well, you guys know. You guys know. Sustanon for TRT. We went over this earlier. I think it's fine for some people. Doesn't really work well for others. Like it's a good stable baseline of tests, and then you get that. Usually, you're getting animalism from that, and then you have prop in there, which then aids the sexual system. Can I recommend good GL? Get the source list in the description. I can't recommend a UGL on air. I think YouTube would kick my fucking ass. Burned Moocher. Fucking epic name, bro. Look at that name. Look at that name, dude. That's what I'd like my name to be. Burned Moocher. Burned Moocher. Started TRT 2 months ago with 10 milligrams test prop daily. E2 is a bit high, so it took 50 milligrams zinc picolinate. Completely crashed E2. Case in point, zinc will crash your estrogen if the estrogen is not too high and if you take a lot of it. Yep. Didn't recover even with huge doses of prop using E2 valerate now. Would be very careful with that. First of all, does your blood reflect that? Do your bloods reflect that you've crashed estrogen, and is it still crashed? It should come back. You know, the zinc picolinate 50 milligrams a day. It leaves the body relatively quickly, and that aromatase inhibition is going to stop quickly. 48 hours or so, maybe a little more. So if at the same time though, that test prop dose is very small, very small. Try dosing 30, bro. Dose 30 a day. You'll have that E2 right on back. Don't use E2 valerate. This is not a use case for E2 valerate. Yeah, don't use estradiol in this case. It's not a use case for that. The use case for estradiol valerate would be you crashed it with aromacin and it's in the fucking dirt and you have proof of that because you validated on E2 sensitive. And, you know, you want to dose 0.2 milligrams estradiol valerate every third day to get it back up until you reach the point where it's back up and you don't feel depressed and have achy joints anymore. And then you stop using the estradiol. You be real careful with that shit, man. It's going to give you ED if you use it wrong. And that ED might last 3 weeks or so. Take your test prop dose up. 10 milligrams is not enough testosterone. 10 milligrams a day is not enough testosterone for anybody, believe me. Even if it's prop. Aside from CDG and zinc, anything else to use? DHT derivatives, period. Yep, definitely. Dr. Phil, go to his website. That seems like an inter-chat thing. MCT oil I've known to be a much cleaner product for us to consume in general. I agree, but can you tell us it's way better for injectable compound? Yeah, I think so. I think it's just better. Yeah, I mean, there's some postulation about cottonseed and grapeseed not being great for you via causing some sort of systemic inflammatory response. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but MCT sounds better, bro. Haha. Don't ask me about science, man. MCT just sounds better, bro. No, I think quantifiably it's better. Yeah, I think so. All right, I'm going to end the stream, boys. Great fucking questions. I got some exercising to do and a bacon, egg, and cheese English muffin waiting for me in my kitchen because I'm hungry. 20% off all products right now. That includes the Torque Stack. Look, my history is in the neuropharmacology of performance. I spent fucking 15 years consulting CEOs from Wells Fargo on that shit. So I built a nootropic stack. It's pretty powerful, man. You can get it down in the description of this video. Source list, again, everything we talked about is on there. For cheap, it's also 20% off. Coaching is also 20% off. For those of you that need a month, 3 months, 6 months, and you're looking at the budget and you're like, do I do this? Now would be the time. It's 20% off right now. Have a great weekend. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Content this week. Hope you enjoyed all the questions. Thank you guys for the questions that you asked. Your questions make this channel go round. Your presence does as well. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you later. Bye-bye. 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 Rock on. Take care.